Welcome to Monkey and Frank. My name is Do, and my body is Dom. Oh, well, today was an interesting day. The biggest thing today was the idea that one step at a time. The idea that no matter how much you're suffering, how much life makes you really hyper aware of your suffering at any moment, if you just take one more step, one more breath, even though the world around you is collapsing, you're just, as long as your body is safe, right? But I'm talking about like your inner monologue is negative, you're fighting with your loved ones. You feel like you are going nowhere fast. Maybe you don't have the job that you want. I don't know. But that type of suffering, when it really slows down to a crawl and you feel like you can't do it anymore, just one more step. And the reason why I say that and where I got that from is, let me tell you a story. When my wife got pregnant, I got the genius idea for our anniversary when she was 8 months pregnant or something like that, to bring her to Mont Tremblant, which is a very hilly place where we would go walk the national trails. And I don't know why, I thought it was going to be romantic, we're going to go, but she's pregnant. I didn't. Anyways, so we go up there, and it was difficult, and it was icy, because it was October, I believe, October, November. And there was a little bit of snow on the ground and ice. And one step at a time, I just followed her, held her hand, made sure that she was going to be safe at every step. I was more nervous than her because I was like, what did I just do? If she falls here, she could hurt herself and the baby. This was my first child. I thought to myself, I am such an idiot. I was so hard on myself, but it was a beautiful weekend. My wife made the best of it. My daughter came out not too long after, 4 weeks premature. It was a beautiful birth. Everything went fine. And then maybe 2 months passes. Now my daughter's 2 months old. And again, I decide because she's breastfeeding, we've got things under control. She sleeps often. We have a thing called a boba, where when we put her inside there, it's like a kangaroo pouch, and she just falls asleep. And I buy all sorts of things so that we could go walk in the forest with mosquitoes. So I buy a body net so that when my wife is walking, she has this upper body net that's protecting the baby from mosquitoes and her, and she decides to wear leggings. Me, I had like a cowboy hat with just a netting that would go over the face. I had my jeans and a long sleeve shirt. Even though it was summer, I didn't want to get bitten by a mosquito. It's so annoying. And we rent a cottage at La Mauricie, and again, very hilly, but I didn't know the place. I thought Quebec is very hilly in general, but we thought we're good. That's our hobby. We love to walk in nature. Let's do this. We get there and we find a trail that says 6 kilometers. And we start at the beginning of the day and we say, yeah, 6 kilometers sounds good. I think we're going to be able to do this. We've got snacks, we've got water. Anytime the baby's hungry, we could just sit, give her the breast, and everything's good. And we get in the trail and we notice that it's harder. It's not flat. It's very hilly and rocky and very difficult. And I'm wearing a big backpack, and my wife has a backpack and the baby, because we're very aware that anything could happen. So we have a lot of water, a lot of food, but it's a lot of weight. And we just start. And after about 2 hours, we're like, okay, should we continue? What should we do? And we decided to continue. And after 3 hours, we're not even halfway there, and it's really hilly, and the mosquitoes are coming out. And this area is known for black bear. There's a lot of black bears. So we're making enough noise so that all the animals know that we're coming in advance. But the mosquitoes, because my wife was wearing leggings, were able to go through the leggings and bite her legs, and she was starting to get in pain. And the baby, because of that, and because we saw how much time was passing by, we just didn't stop. We didn't stop for water. We didn't stop for food. We just kind of put pedal to the metal. And at one point, we tried to breastfeed the baby, and it was so difficult. The mosquitoes was on us like insanity. And so we managed it a few times. But then after 5 hours of this, and we're not even close to being done, we start panicking. Both of us really, because even the hills, like the fact that we had to climb, go down, and it was very difficult, and I was getting tired. Like, I was not used to this type of exercise. We did a lot of walking, but not this type of, plus all the pack, and we were not eating, so nothing was getting lighter. It was just the same constant weight. And so anyways, the wife starts to panic, and she gives me her backpack. So now I've got a backpack in front of me and at the back, and my wife has the baby, and I start to really get scared. We get to the halfway mark, and like 5 hours had passed, and we're like, shit. And there's no way we can go back, because that's another 5 hours. And we figured, let's go forward, because it can't be harder, hopefully. Like, we were crossing our fingers, and we just go for it. And for the next 5 to 6 hours, we just walk. And thank God it was summer, or else it would have gotten dark. But anyways, I wanted to talk about in the middle of that last 6 hours, about 3 hours in, I start to panic. I tell my wife, and I'm white as a ghost, and I really have a meltdown. Like, holy shit, what did we do? How stupid are we? And I kept swearing at ourselves, like, why would we do this? Like, pure anger, pure fear, pure frustration. And my wife's like, no, it's okay, we got this. Like, just one step at a time. We got this. We have to do this. And the baby was crying, and she wouldn't stop, and we couldn't stop for milk because we didn't want to be stuck in the woods in the middle of the night in fucking black bear. Plus the baby kept crying. Like, I'm sure we could smell like fear. If there would be any animals around, they would be like, oh, we're just waiting for these people to fall asleep or something. So she tells me one step at a time, and we continue. And then after an hour or so, she breaks down. And like the same way that I broke down, the full-on crying and the fear and how stupid are we? The baby's just brand new. Like, what are we doing? And I don't know if she had stopped crying, but it took like at least 2 hours before she stopped crying and just went back to sleep, because we didn't want to stop. The mosquitoes were insane. So again, we do the one step at a time. The thing that I remember the most, that is kind of a blessing, is when you get to a point where your body is so tired, the fear stays with you. The feeling is still extremely high, but you get to a point where it's just literally one step at a time. Your body is burning, but because it's a constant, like my wife was holding the baby at one point because the boba was not working, right? So she was just holding the baby as she was going up and down hills and rocky, and I was one step at a time. Like, my entire body was aching, but I could do one step at a time. I could have kept that pace until I died, and it would not have been painful, like more painful. You reach to a point where it kind of maxes out, and then it just is. And I swear, for the last 3 hours, it was basically this, one step at a time, and every hill was agonizing. Anyways, the sun was going down. It was just at the horizon, and we get to a hill, and we get up the hill, and we see the parking lot, and we're like, thank God. Get to the car, put the baby in the car seat. We get to the chalet where we had rented it, and we just sat, and we were defeated, but we had made it. So we were, yeah, like I said, defeated. We were not happy at the situation of what just had happened. Um, we understood that in a situation, I guess we can do this one step at a time. My wife's arm were kind of locked in place. You know, I really had to massage them for, and it was crazy. So it was kind of like shocked. There was no necessarily happiness, but there was like relief, understanding, and a knowing of never again, first of all. But for me, a knowing that when things get really, really hard, like it being in any scenario, if you just push yourself until you get to a point where you can just do one more step. And when it comes to survival, when you do a workout, CrossFit, or it be anything, a sport, martial art, if it's not survival, you quit after a while and you just give up. Like you're like, I'm not gonna go past this limit. Why would I do that? I would just, but you do it automatically. That's where like the good athletes and the good martial artists, they can push themselves to that max and stay there and do one more step. I see that in Nate Diaz, and like he just never stopped. Like he gets to a peak, and no matter how much suffering, it can't get worse. And it's life or death. But that is comforting. So today I was doing the Wim Hof breathing, and I was looking at my archetype wall. It had been a while. I've been working upstairs, and I've been away from spirituality because basement is just a basement. I want it to be where the sun is. But I've been looking at my ceremony wall, which is all of my archetypes, all of my friends, everybody that I really, really love. And it was showing me on how that's the only thing that matters. Connections with others. Like I could see in every one of those people, soul, in my soul, I could see their soul, like how amazing they are, no matter like what the human flaws, what human trauma they've accumulated over the years, throughout their lives. So each one of you, if you listen to this, I will be able to see you fully after we die and really have a connection that is, oh my God, the connection that we are making in this world so that it lasts. And the other is just something that is blowing my mind today, which really opened up the idea that your enemies are not your enemies. Your enemies are a soul that has a purpose in this life, and for them, they might be righteous, or even if they would be like pure evil. You see it in the stories of like Thor and Loki. Thor is always picking up Loki and saying like, all right, together we're gonna fight because now we're in trouble and we're all gonna die. And if we don't fight together, and they fight great, they're a perfect, they do a great team at fighting the enemy. But then as soon as the enemy's dead, Loki always turns against Thor. And I want to be Thor. I want to never give up on my enemy and pick him up every single time and say, let's do this together. And I know you'll stab me in the back, but I'll keep my heart and my awareness open, and with the knowing that God has a plan and everything is meant to be, I will trust life. No matter how many times you kill me, I will come back and save you. And because I want to fight by your side. I love you. Your soul is perfect. This is just a game. This entire illusion of life is just a beautiful game for our soul to experience and learn and grow, and maybe one day create and become a god of your own. I could totally see and picture a time where my soul would be aware to a level where I could create. And it would even start with like guardian angels. Like when you're your family members passed, or your friend, or even your dogs, your cats, any type of any love, even a plant, a tree could be a guardian angel. And that's just a practice to be there fully for the love of another, and to know, even though you couldn't do anything, or even if you could only do a little bit to influence the life that you would be guarding, that would be amazing. As time doesn't matter on the other side, imagine having a task where you could totally dedicate 100% of your soul to it. In this world, the body has so many limitations that you can only practice and practice and practice to, you know, play with your third eye and your heart and your body to train it so that it behaves like at a perfect frequency. Like working out, stretching is such an important thing. Eating healthy, I'm seeing that now more and more. I was defiant of it for a while when I found spirituality, and before the mushroom trip where it showed me I was ungrateful. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, everything that tastes good is bad for you. Every time that, like, everything was a paradox. Everything that tastes good is bad for you. As soon as I get stressed about time, you slow me down. Anytime that I want to heal a trauma, I have to go through it and there's no way around it. There's no cheat. There's no easy way. Anytime that, oh, and love behind, or love makes it so that you get angry, so that you get attachment, so that you get afraid. Everything that you love, you fear. Like, love brings on, the most negative feeling in a human. Greed. They say, oh, greed is the root of all evil. And you know what the root of all evil is? Love. Love is the root of all evil. Period. Because the only reason why you would be greedy is because of your love for maybe an object, maybe a status, maybe whatever it may be. Personally, I would love to be rich just so that I could... My version of a best life of being rich is creating a place where people would come so that they could have a proper death. So let's say you're on death's door, you have cancer, you know you're going to die in the next few months. You come to my facility, sorry about that, and we do plant medicine we do anything you want, basically. But what we do is, the environment would be zen, calm, and it would be all about the knowing that your awareness will continue. So it'd be the relinquishment of your body slowly, and to do it so beautifully, to have a garden so that you can go work in the garden as you are dying, so that you're not limited to a bed and a small window, and to start disconnecting all of the machines. Anyways, I want to be there for others as they pass. I want to be there for myself, and therefore that's my calling. I want to do that for others. That's my journey. I really feel like my destiny is that I want to be there for my body as it dies. So I want to practice. I want to see it. I want to surround myself with it. I want to see how beautiful it is to die, and not something so scary. It is such a profound experience when, well, from what I hear from experts, that when somebody dies, if you don't feel the rush and the need, because the doctors are, what do you want to do with the body? Like, whoa, out. Spend as much time with the body as you want. It's not going to start stinking. It's not going to give you any disease. It takes a while before our body decomposes. Take your time. Have an experience. Have a journey. And that's what I want to experience. But, I'm scared. I don't want to experience it with my wife or my mom. But it's going to come one day, and I will look at it. So one step at a time, huh? Have the courage. Oh yeah, I wanted to share. The reason why it blew my mind today when I did that experience of the Wim Hof and looking at my archetype wall is because when you are at that point where evil is just all around you, all the negative spirits want you to fail. They want you to go into the darkness. They want you to, that's what I was feeling in the woods, where it was just pure fear, and it was one step at a time. fear. But today I experience that one step at a time, but with all your ancestors behind you, supporting you, cheering you on. Then knowing if in that forest, if I would have had the spirituality, I can just imagine and envision one step at a time and having God saying, "You got this," and all my ancestors, "You got this," and a million voice all around me saying, "You got this. Come on, though. You got this." And as I was walking in that wood, I was always thinking, because I love walking with a walking stick. I was like, if a bear comes in, am I gonna have enough energy, even with this adrenaline, to even fight? And of course, I was thinking about it, and it was consuming me, because I knew almost that if something would come in, I had no energy. I was on empty, and I was just one step at a time. Like I was on the verge of collapse, giving up, sitting down, and never getting up again. And I never, no. I knew in that force, no. Like with having a new child there and a wife, but what if I would be alone? Would I have the courage to do one more step? One more step? Fuck yeah. You know why? Because I'm spiritual. Because I've got all my ancestors behind me. I've got friends, families, deceased, that are all watching over me, that are cheering me on. Having a silent mind is such a freaking blessing. The quietness that is inside of my head, even as I'm speaking right now, is the Tao. So bliss. It really is the Tao. I don't know. God, I have a want, and I'm sorry. But to know somebody that I've had inner monologue and to have gone to silent mind, I want to meet somebody that has done that and that is living it every day. I can see it in their eyes. I want to see that. Oh man, what a blessing. But anyways, one step at a time. So when I was doing the Wim Hof breathing, I hang from my, I've got rings that are hung up from the ceiling so that I can work out, and I hang upside down. And I was able to hang for like 5 minutes. It was so crazy. My arms, my hands were holding on, not because I'm strong. I was holding on, and it was a spiritual hang. The pain was so great that it didn't matter. It was just is. And I could have held on for so long, and my muscle, I could feel my muscle from my hand all the way to my shoulders, like I could feel the path where the weakest muscle was kind of screaming like, "Oh my God, this hurts so much." And same with my hand. And I was bringing on all my ancestors, and it was just one more step, and I could have done that forever. It's so cool. Have you ever did a plank, a spiritual plank? I love those. So you do, as you're doing your plank, you breathe like you have a purpose, like your life depends on it, like spirituality and like mother, like all of your ancestors, and you just breathe and you just breathe until you get so high on your own supply that you stop breathing. And I'm telling you, you could do a plank for 10 minutes. It's crazy how the pain is there, but you're giving it away to life, to God, to mother, to your love monster. I have this thing inside of myself that when pain, physical pain arises, I can kind of see a funnel. I feel like the pain radiates, so it becomes a radiation, and it goes through a funnel, and I give it back to life. It's like grounding, I guess. But personally, I think of mother, I think of God, and I just give it all to him, because he wants to take away my pain. He wants to be there for me. He's cheering me on, and he knows that this human experience is crazy difficult. So on top of cheering me on in positive voice, he gives me bigger challenges. He gives me more pain. He gives me more suffering, because he wants me to grow, and he does it out of love. He's hurting me. Imagine hurting your own son or daughter just for the idea. Like, I do it with my plants, but I could never do it to my daughter. Like if you slap her, it's gonna do something. Like, no, No, I do not have the knowledge, the wisdom to even have this power a little bit. So God, you are incredible. Thank you for doing that for us. To say that, oh, I'm so blessed. Thank you guys for listening. This is Monkey and Frank, and I'm so happy to be sharing this integration with you guys. And I will, and I do, and I love, and I am so grateful. Bye.